secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, you know me, I got no time to waste. Type of energy that can't be replaced, no debate. We can take it back to my place. I can turn around, let me show you how it tastes, yeah. A baller, mine on the dollar. Swallowing the bottle while you're smoking on gelato. Now do you need some of that noodle? Just tell me that you're coming through. What can we ever What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. What can we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you know me, I'm not wasting time.
We gotta see, all they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see ORL. 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 VSR all day. VSR my way. Real ones only get it. Say less, we straight. 59, never back down. If you didn't know, just ask around. Pull the draft on the front stretch. Turn one, they tap it down. Force the gap with all contact. Feel the adrenaline off that. Under pressure from front to back. Another cup, one and keep it on track. You wanted more, I'm calling cap. Elvis up, come get it back. 50 drivers in the server. Hope you're ready for combat. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see ORL. All they see.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you so much for joining and tuning in to Odyssey Racing League Season 19 of GT Americas. My name is Christian Julian, and I am up here in the broadcaster booth alone, but I have a pretty good view of the track and the race tonight, and it's going to be a pretty exciting one as we get started into round 5. A little bit of quick housekeeping as we do go along and continue with our program here. Round 5, we are at Laguna Seca, all the way in Central California. And for our final round next week and round 6, we're going to be at the Nürburgring. So we're going to have to take a quick plane trip over there to Germany so we can finish off season 19 at the Nürburgring GP circuit. A quick view at the standings after round 4 in Suzuka. We do have Phil Cryotheos leading the pro drivers, the Iceman there at the top with a decent amount of points. I believe that is 14 if I'm doing my math correctly, above P2 there, Michael Moletta, who is also still in contention for the win. And not to discredit him as well, in P3 we do have Andrew Rados, not too far off, about 4 points away from Michael, so still pretty close there for the top. For the amateurs, we do have Kyle White in the lead of the standings, Drew Jensen moving up into P2, and Chad McLean sitting there nice and pretty in P3. For the rookies, Aguero Martinez having a really good season so far here. The new driver, or the new face here at Odyssey Racing League, 136 total points, so that puts him at the top of the rookie standings. Alex Donaldson right below him though, and Ryan Chanley holding on to that third podium spot. Moving over to the GT4s, Leila Martinez moves into the lead. Bonus Charles in P2, and that puts Dean Solomon on that third step of the podium. But enough about that. Let's get right into some of the qualifying action. We are on board with the number 924 Mac and Cheese Aston Martin GT4, driven by Leila Martinez. Leila Martinez with their maiden victory last week at Suzuka, so their first win here at Odyssey Racing League. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more from Leila Martinez, as they had a pretty dominant showing last week at Suzuka. It was like, I think it was like a 10-15 second gap, I think. So they had a hell of a race. And let's see if that continues there, actually. Yeah, speak of the mac and cheese, and it will deliver. 130.075 for Leila Martinez. So that puts them right at the top of the standings provisionally. That is Alex Cruz in P2 and Matt Hugh in P3 right there. Moving over, that is Matt Hugh for Big Q Motorsports 2. A little bit in front of Leila there. And it does look like they're all on valid laps, so I don't believe the Chevy has to move out of the way unless they grant the Aston space there. But again, talking just a little bit more about the track where we are at. We are at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. I know they get mad if you don't say WeatherTech, so I'm gonna make sure to include that. So we are at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This is located in Central California. It's near Salinas and Monterey, California. It's literally smack dab in the middle. I don't know if it's like smack dab by distance, but by visual, it's like if you were to create a right angle between both cities, it's literally right at that right angle. It's really funny to me. The track is 2.2 miles or 3.6 kilometers around this 11-turn circuit. And there is a 180 feet difference of elevation, and you'll actually see that a lot. Hopefully not detrimentally to some drivers, but we're going to be seeing a lot of that happening at the corkscrew, especially when drivers are going to have to go and fight for position while going up that little hill there. Speaking of still fighting, Matt Hughes still trying to do a little bit better than Alex Cruz and hopefully try to get into that P2 spot. However, a little bit of pressure from the leader behind them. It's going to be interesting to see. I actually do see Bonus Charles with a really good time on his Delta as he goes across the final turn in arguably one of the worst pit entrances alive here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Bonus Charles crossing the finish line. And that leaves Bonus Charles, unfortunately, still in P5. Alan Romero, though, able to get their time. The number 55 Mercedes-AMG GT4 now in P6. That puts Bonus Charles P5. Leila Martinez P1. Actually, that is the end of qualifying for the GT4s. So, Leila Martinez, your provisional leader for the GT4s, unless the other drivers can finish up a qualifying time. Alex Cruz P2, provisionally for the GT4s. And moving over to Mr. Matt Hugh, who is not on the correct camera. There it is. Matt Hugh in P3 for the GT4s provisionally so far. That looks like some cars are lining up there at the end of the grid. It does look like the number 55 and the number 26 are still out on track finishing their qualifying times, as they are allowed to do. Let's actually get some better visual of that. Can we see the elevation change from here? Oh, we can see a little bit of it as we see Bonus Charles now diving through the corkscrew and the extra left hand that you have to do after that. In the chat, let's go BSR. Huge shout out to BSR from the chat. Velo Uno in the chat. Hello there. Hello, Velo. Nice to see you joining us. Andy is bored. Laguna. It's a good track. It's just very, very tough and very punishing is the correct word. Any little mistake that you have is completely ruins your lap time. Whether it be like a qualifying tap or even qualifying lap or even a race, just because of the outskirts. Like look at how much sand. Look at how much sand there is. It's way too much sand. I know it's in California. It's like basically in the middle of the desert, but come on. We can't clean this up. Put less sand. It's rough, it's coarse, it gets everywhere. Miguel Cizeron in the chat. Hello, Miguel. Good to see you. As we watch the rookies or the red plates start to warm up their tires, their brakes, and their brains coming into their first qualifying times, we're going to still talk about a little bit more about WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So built in 1957 for a small loan of $1.5 million, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca started off, I believe, as a motorcycle circuit. And it also went through various different names in title. So it used to be also called, I believe, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. There you go. I was like, it was like Mazda something Laguna Seca. Built in 1957, and the configuration that we are racing in right now was built in 1966, or updated in 1966, and is considered FIA Grade 2. So that means that the Formula One does not race here, but there are so many other different racing leagues, or not leagues, but just like series that run here, including IndyCar, IMSA Sports Car Championship, IMSA itself, Motor America, Trans Am. There's also the Trans Am series. There's so many different type of racing that goes on here at Check Raceway Laguna Seca. And also, in case you didn't know, Laguna Seca is Spanish, and that does translate to dry lake. So this was built on top of a dry lake or a dry lagoon, and they made it into a raceway. Look at that. How nice. Andy in the chat, this is tough. Gonna be a rough race, but I'm debating a special livery. Oh, okay. Well, we are in October. It is spooky season. We wanted to start spooky season off right, so we gave you the corkscrew. Here you go. I hope you guys aren't too spooked out. But somebody that's not scared to put on a good qualifying time, Agüero Martinez towards the top, 124.327 for the number 79 in BMW. Alex Donaldson right below him, not too far off actually a little bit less than a second, so 125.227. I sit corrected though, however, because the V8 Lexus, one of my favorite cars visually, driven by LaVorce Perkins, all the way to the top, the number 14 Lexus, 124.250, less than 7/1000th of a second faster than P2. Daniel Fernandez actually sneaking in there, 124.257. So yeah, 7/1000th of a second between LaVorce and Daniel. That's crazy. Kyle's Garage in the chat, Laguna Seca also has unusual rules for how loud the cars can be. Yes, so Laguna Seca has this super weird rule where cars, you can only practice during certain days and times, and only certain cars, because they can't be so loud, because it's literally in the middle of a neighborhood. Or there's like a neighborhood that's literally right next door, and there people get mad all the time. You can actually see probably some of the houses from... do they have that updated on this version? I don't think you can see it, but it's literally like right over one of these hills. It's like literally just houses. It's like literally a neighborhood. So you can, like, if you live in the neighborhood, you can hear the cars racing every time. I've never been to Laguna Seca. I've actually never been to California. Seems like a cool place to go. I would like to visit one day. Any place that has a racetrack, I would like to visit. Kyle's Garage in the chat, that's their fault. I mean, you could argue that, yeah. I mean, yeah, you could argue that. If you want to argue that, I'll argue it with you. I'm not going to say no. So we do have 32 cars on the grid for tonight's feature race. However, qualifying is split up. We do have GT4s that go in out first. Right now, it is the rookies GT3s. So these are the GT3s with the red number plates. Afterwards, for the last 7 minutes, I believe it's going to be nothing but the pros and the AMs going out to qualify. So that is the silver-plated drivers and the white-plated drivers. Some cars beaching themselves in the sand to give way to the other cars. Oh, that's a scary corkscrew coming out of Phil Dixon, but he's able to keep it within the lines. Yes, within the lines, Phil Dixon is. He's able to continue on his time. Is he able to increase and beat Ryan Chanley for P6? It looks like Red de Guzman is actually able to improve their time, so they move up into P7, moving Phil Dixon down into P8. Phil Dixon looks to be down on the Delta with an unfortunately slow exit coming out of the last turn there. So that is not going to allow Phil to move up higher from that last lap. However, it does look like Phil has about 1 lap left to go. As we see Aguero Martinez doing very well on the Delta. John Malo as well doing very well on the Delta, moving over to the number 85 Audi with the Grateful Driver team. I'm very curious to see this livery, so I do apologize for this camera angle that you're about to see right now. But this is the Grateful Dead? Does that say Grateful Dead? I think that does. Okay. That's a band, I believe. John Malo putting the Grateful Dead Audi into the dirt. A little touch of gray there coming out of that situation, but hopefully a brighter race for the Grateful Driver there. Red Guzman electing to finish their pit stop, or their their qualifying time as the Hackdog Racing Honda joins the pit lane party as they wait for the future race to start. Lavores Perkins actually moved down. We didn't get to see it, but Aguero Martinez qualifying P1 for the amateurs, 123.915 for the BMW. That puts Lavores Perkins in the Lexus in P2. That's the number 14 Lexus to be exact. And P3 goes to Daniel Fernandez for the rookies. That's the number 626 McLaren. As we see the rest of the drivers now starting to, or excuse me, the amateurs and the pro drivers, the rest of them that haven't left yet, are starting to line up there, as we do see Chad McLean and the rest of the pro and AMs getting ready to join the track there to warm up that Pirelli rubber. It's going to be a very interesting track. It is 30 degrees Celsius, ambient temperature 40 degrees Celsius on the track, so it's going to be nice and hot. So hopefully these tires are going to be able to grip and come up to temperature and up to grip very nicely, and hopefully they stay within that temperature window. Velo Uno in the chat, any bets on sub 22? So a sub 22 would be very interesting to see. If I remember correctly, sub 22 is that 102% or is that 101%? And I say that by what I mean by 102 and 101% racing fans, if you ever hear me saying that basically just means how much slower you are than the fastest time ever done. 101 or 102 would basically mean like you're 1% off or 2% off. So that's like a second, if not less. But if we go to the Laguna Seca times that I have here on my board, the fastest time, or the top 8 average, is 121.56. The fastest is around the low 122s. So a sub 22 would be incredible to see. Would I place a bet on it? I don't think so. I'm gonna say no. If you want to make bets, you're more than welcome to. I do apologize. We're having some technical difficulties with the camera. It is stuck on Chad McLean. But since we do have a pink car, I do want to remind you all, we are in a spooky month. It is October. It is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if you do have pink, don't be afraid to wear it. Don't be afraid to show your support. As we move over to the number 82 Honda, driven by Andrew Rados for Odyssey Racing League, moving up into P1, 122.115. So we're going to set bets on who can beat 122. I think we might see it. I think we might see a sub 22. This is qualifying, so they are going to be running basically on fumes, the drivers. So maybe if we want to maybe if we differentiate the bet between qualifying pace and race pace, Qualifying pace sub 22. We might actually see it be right now. Andrew Rados 122.115, so that puts him at the top of the leader standings. And on the top step of the podium, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos and the number 81 in P2. And taking the third spot right now, still holding on to it actually, is Agüero Martinez. The number 79 BMW. I said corrected as soon as I said his name. Kyle White coming in screaming to take that third place spot away from Agüero. The number 251 Aston, now P3. 123.622 for Kyle White. Phil Cryotheos, I don't know if I said his time, is 122.970. And with that, Josh Staffen, also in a Honda, the number 25 Honda to be exact, joining the Honda homie at the top. Joining his Honda homie at the top. Josh Staffen, 122.270 for them. Times are flying in. Emre for Baller Squad Racing, the number 275 Ferrari, moving up into P3. I know I think he told me it's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. where he's at in Turkey, so I've already given him some theoretical bonks on the head that he should be sleeping right now and not racing. But hey, sometimes you can't take the race out of the racer. You can take the racer out of the race, but you can never take the racing out of the racer. They'll always want to race. Did that even make sense? Was that even English? I don't even know. I did see there was also someone that followed. I don't get a notification. Thank you so much for following and subscribing. If you also haven't already and you are listening in and tuning in, 1 minute 36 seconds left in qualifying for round 5 of Odyssey Racing League GT Americas season 19 to be exact. And if you haven't already, go ahead and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's also a little bell, I believe, to the side. It'll let you know when we go live next for our next racing round. Because we don't only just do GT Americas, we also do GT Europe. Sundays at 12 Eastern. Excuse me, at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we also have special events usually on Saturdays. We also do have a special event coming up, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that during our intermission break. Couple of drivers doing amazing on their Delta times. Darth Kemmel in the number 87 Honda coming through the final turn, up almost a second on their Delta, so that's going to be putting them very nice, almost in the top 10, maybe in P10. If not, that's going to be putting them in P9. Kemmel crosses the line, but it wasn't a valid time. Unfortunately, picking up an off track, and that does invalidate the number 87's time, but they do have 12 seconds left in qualifying, so that is going to allow them to finish their final lap. Tim gargles some water, going up into the corkscrew. Number 660 McLaren only has 2 more turns to worry about. Oh, and then unfortunately hitting the inside of the apex of the second to last turn. And that is unfortunately going to invalidate Tim Gargles and Water's time. I 100% take full responsibility for that, Tim. I will chalk that up to commentator's curse. We have the number 272 Baller Squad Racing Ferrari driven by Wyatt. I think putting those right-hand tires in the dirt invalidates their time, so that leaves Wyatt in P7. So after our official qualifying time is over, it does look like Andrew Rados is your provisional pole leader, the number 82 Honda in P1, 121.712. Josh Staffen right behind them in the number 25 Honda with a 121.937, and Phil Cryotheos on the final step of the podium, the Iceman, with their time 122.720. And that is it for our official qualifying time. We're going to be going to a quick intermission, and we'll be right back with the starting grid walk. It's the start of spooky season, and we have started to cook up some events for all of y'all. We do have an event coming up called The Haunting at Glen Hollow. All car classes welcome. It's going to be a 4-hour race, October 25th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. I believe there is also a $10 entry fee. If you would like to learn more about this upcoming race, you can join us on discord.gg/Odyssey Racing League. As we get ready for the starting grid walk, just wanted to, again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Christian Julian, and on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, this is your starting grid walk for Season 19, Round 5 of GT Americas. At the top step of the podium, Andrew Rados in the number 82 Honda. In P2, the Honda homie to P1, Josh Staffen in the number 25 Honda for real-time racing. In P3, the final step of the podium, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos for Odyssey Racing League Esports. P4, Emre Sonmez for Baller Squad Racing. It's the number 275 Ferrari to be exact, because I believe there is another Ferrari for Baller Squad Racing. Kyle White, the number 251 Aston for Fat Aston Racing. Great name. Solid name. P6 goes to Michael Maletta. Number 72 Porsche for Baller Squad Racing. In P7, the number 272 Ferrari, driven by Wyatt Vitor. Baller Squad Racing teammate. P8, it's Darth Kemmel in the blacked out Honda. This is actually the number 87 Honda to be specific. And I did not mention this earlier, and I do apologize, but Kyle White, your leader for this silver drivers, the amateur drivers. As we can see, the number 251 Aston does have a silver plate there on the left hand side of our screen. In P9, Agüero Martinez for Moon Black RT race team, excuse me. The number 79 BMW P9 overall, however, your leader for the rookie drivers. Those are the red plates. And rounding off your top 10, Chad McLean in the pink Demon Ford Mustang. P11, Drew Jensen in the number 19 Ford Mustang. P12, Lavorce Perkins. P13, Daniel Fernandez. P14, Robbie Sorda Asian. P15, Alex Donaldson. P16, Tim Gargle Some Water. It's also a hydration trek, so any racing fans out there, if you're watching this, get some water and get a little stretch. Now's your time before the race starts. John Ryder in P17, that's the number 619 Ferrari. Right behind him, Red de Guzman for Hack Dog Racing, the number 6 Honda, P18 overall. Ryan Chanley, the number 67 Aston Martin, P19 overall. P20 goes to Phil Dixon, this is the number 885 Porsche. P21, JP May in the Pokemon Porsche. Again, one of my favorite liveries. John Malone in the number 85 Audi. This is the Grateful Dead livery, the Grateful driver. Hopefully we'll not see a touch of gray for his race. We'll see. Nice. Open skies. Bobby Evans, number 23 McLaren. Excuse me, the number 120 McLaren in P23. Starting off your GT4s, your leader for the GT4s. This is Leila Martinez and the number 924 Mac and Cheese Aston Martin GT4. P24 overall, however, leading the GT4 pack. Alex Cruz and the number 121 Nilla Wafer BMW GT4. And Matt Hugh and the number 53 Chevy GT4. Because it looks like the race may be about to start, so they're trying to get there side by side as fast as possible. But that's rounding off your podium for the GT4s. Dean Solomon in the Porsche GT4. This is number 59 to be exact for Backroad GT Racing. Wei Shen Wang, the number 423 AMG for Infinity Racing MOL team. Alan Romero in the AMG GT4, P29 overall for him. Andres Espinosa, P30 for the Chilean driver. P31 goes to Michael Cortez, P32 to Miguel Cizeron, and P33 to Bonus Charles, who's unfortunately having not so much of a great start. He's started in the pit, so it does look like he may have a start from pit penalty, but it's going to be interesting to see as the tension builds up, as the cars line up side by side as they wait. With a green flag drops and the race has started. As we see them go side by side going up into the hill, it's kind of a blind turn. So if anything happens or anything crazy happens, it's going to be very difficult to stop, as we do see Andrew Rados already getting a small lead compared to his Honda homie and Phil Cryotheos there. Josh Staffen is in the other Honda. However, moving on down, Darth Kemmel alongside the Aston Martin of Kyle White, trying to get a good position also is Aguero Martinez, who's trying to sneak in maybe along the inside, as we do have some contact happening towards the or in the middle of the pack, as we do see a couple of cars losing some spots, but it doesn't look like anything too crazy. Some kitty litter being thrown up there by one of the cars, putting their tires in the dirt maybe a little too early, so that's going to be slowing down their top speed, and maybe some spots will be lost here. Side by side is John Malo, and that is Red de Guzman. Red de Guzman trying to go along the inside. And it looks like, is that a McLaren off the track? I think that's the McLaren of Daniel Fernandez, who unfortunately is going to have to wait to rejoin safely. Cars going side by side through turns in 6. Now onto the Rahal Straight going up the hill. Relatively clean so far. I do have some contact flags, but it doesn't look like anything egregious has happened or anything like that seriously needs a pep talk. I do kind of sit corrected, as you do see off the track map, the number 716, and I think that's the 999, both off the track there. That is Michael Cortez and Miguel Cizeron, both cars struggling, I think, to get back on the track. So if I'm going to keep an eye on them, as we see contact happening between Ryan Shanley and Phil Dixon. Phil Dixon trying to break into the braking zone, but maybe biting off a little bit more than you can chew and kissing the back bumper of that Aston Martin there. Moving up into the top of the pack, though, and your leader still, Andrew Rados, does have a 15-second time penalty, so that's going to be applied during the middle of their pit stop. I do see Richard in the chat. Game audio missing. Let me get that fixed for you. Thank you very much for letting me know about that. But Andrew Rados still in the lead. The number 82 Honda, 15-second time penalty. So that's going to be putting less pressure on Josh Staffen to go for an overtake. However, Josh Staffen is going to try as hard as they can to stay on the back bumper of the Honda in the lead. Phil the Iceman Cryotheos trying to also stay up in the pack, as we start to see the separation between the front 3 and the rest of the top 10. We can see that there on our screen. The number 24 going off track, that's Alex Donaldson right there on between turn 6 and 5. That is not a good place to get off the track there, because that is literally all just dirt and debris, and there's no traction there. So even getting back on the track is going to be a hassle. We see cars already starting to line up single file. Everyone's starting to get into their grooves, and we might start seeing some of the late lunges started to happen now, especially into turn 1, which is a pretty good place to get alongside, especially if the car that you are fighting against decides to brake a little early. Turn 1, also known as, turn 2. That is actually turn 2, also known as the Andretti hairpin. A hot spot, if I do say so myself, for overtaking and for racing maneuvers to be had. Right now on board with Emre in the number 275 Ferrari, trying to catch up to their Baller Squad teammate in the Porsche in front of them. Both cars, interesting choices, as they are not very popular, or we haven't seen a huge popularity in the Porsche and the Ferrari as much as we used to see them in past seasons. However, the Baller Squad drivers, I don't think, really care about popularity of the cars. They just drive whatever they feel most comfortable in and can extract the most race pace out of. Andres Espinosa in the number 27 Audi, looking along the inside of the Pokemon Porsche, driven by JP May. However, JP May electing to take a good defensive line there. A little squirrely exit actually coming out of turn 9, the rainy curve. Is he able to stay alongside? He is, but is he going to give up the position? He's not giving it up. He's trying to fight for it, but it looks like the 27 was able to get a little bit farther ahead into the turn, and that's going to be a new spot for the number 27, moving up into P19. a line of V8 cars on our screen. Two Mustangs and then the Lexus Lavoris right on the back bumper of Drew Jensen. Drew Jensen having to keep his eyes forward, but also one eye on his backup on his review camera to make sure that this Lexus doesn't make any funny moves coming in to turn 6 now, right before they're all straight. However, this Lexus is just... this thing just pulls. It hauls. If I could say the last word of that sentence, I could say it, but it hauls. Into the hard braking zone of the corkscrew. Some more action happening a little bit farther back. This is actually at the top of the corkscrew. John Milo returning to the racing line for the final turn. Moving up a little bit, Darth Kemmel on the back bumper of the BMW, trying to apply pressure to Agüero Martinez in that BMW. But as we have seen in the previous rounds, racing fans, the driver of the number 79 BMW usually doesn't let anything behind him affect him in the race. A pretty consistent driver, if I do say so myself, for the past 4 rounds, technically, since we are in the 5th round. Couple of spots ahead. Kyle White trying to break into the top 5. The number 251 Aston Martin almost banging bumpers with the Baller Squad Racing Porsche in front of him. That's the number 72 Porsche to be exact. And that is Michael behind the wheel. As we see some elevation going up the hill, turn 1, now into the hard braking zone of the Andretti hairpin known as turn 2. Very interesting place to overtake if you can carry enough speed and brake at the right time. As I do see a yellow flag, that's the number 53. It's driven by Matt Hugh. He's right before the corkscrew, so he's gonna have to, if there's any traffic coming along, he's gonna have to wait for that traffic to pass him before he can rejoin. I did hear a danger alert coming from the top of the standings. Josh Staffen applying pressure to Andrew Rados. Will this be a change for the race lead? Only time will tell. And when the drivers decide to when the drivers decide to take their pit stop. The number 660 also off on the Rahal straight there. That's Tim Gargles from Water. That is a penalty as well for the number 660. So it looks like they were involved in some sort of collision or incident. Could be a collision, could be an unsafe rejoin. Only the stewarding sheet could tell, and I do not have that in front of me. So I'm going to be asking the stewards to send that to me if they can hear me. So some blue flag traffic happening for our race leader here, Andrew Rados, though, not allowing that to deter his pace and trying to keep Josh Staffen behind him. Both cars elect to pass the blue flag car on turn 6. Now going up into turn 7, the corkscrew now. The left, right, left. And it's going to be creating a little bit more of a cushion between Josh Staffen and Andrew Rados, so giving Andrew a little bit more breathing opportunity. But it also just gives Josh to rethink his strategy and maybe reformulate his attack. So this is going to be a very interesting battle to watch. Another interesting battle to watch on our screen. Darth Kemmel able to stay right on the tail back bumper. Oh, a big, bad, squirrely exit for the BMW. That's number 79 BMW. Unfortunately, almost both back tires off the ground, but able to keep it within the white lines. Unfortunately, does have to lose a spot, though. So the number 79 moving down into P8. Darth Kemmel probably relieved that he doesn't have to fight too much for that spot, but now he's going to have to think about defensive maneuvers and where to place his car as he continues racing along the track. We did have the little pit window sign there letting us know that the official pit window is now open. As we do see, whoa, what happened there? That's the number 72. No, that's one of the Baller Squad Racing Porsches, unfortunately taking, I don't want to say a dirt nap, right? But unfortunately taking a dirt vacation in turn 4, or before turn 4. That's in the small section between turn 3 and 4. But what happened? We need to see if there was there contact? I need to see if there's contact. We need to see this. So turn 2 coming out of the Andretti hairpin, the Baller Squad Racing Porsche unfortunately takes a little bit too much of the dirt. Saves it within the white lines. Good. Oh, it doesn't look like there was contact. Was there contact? It was probably like the slightest little of contact. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna chalk that up to ACC things. Because in real life, if that contact would have happened, nothing. The cars would have been like, oh, you're there? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I'll let you in. Like, oh my goodness. Michael Cortez in the Noobs Are Us McLaren, passing through traffic as he makes his way to the corkscrew. That's such a great shot. Yeah, Richard in the chat, I don't think they're at his contact. It might have just been hot tires. I agree, like, that didn't look like contact, and if it was contact, it was like the slightest, littlest tap. Because just the way that corner evolves, both cars like just like rotate out. Like sorry, both cars are supposed to like fan out towards the outside of the track to just get grip, and it's just terrible to see. I do agree. Hate to see it though. It looked like he saved it. He did, yeah. He saved it in the beginning, and then unfortunately the second turn was what happened. Oh my goodness. But maybe some revenge for their Baller Squad Racing teammate Emre in the number 275 Ferrari, applying pressure to the Odyssey Racing League Esports driver. Coming out of turns 2 now into turn 3, the hard braking zone. And then the right turn, and then another right. As we make our way under the mother's sign. Up the hill now into turn 5. Some GT4 traffic happening. Was this going to slow down the 83 or the number 81? It doesn't look like the 81 is slowing down. So the number 275 is going to have to come up with something. A squirrely exit for Emery, and that's going to be the commentator's curse. So hopefully that makes it go away for the rest of the race. However, the number 275 still trying to keep up to pace with that McLaren in front of him. Another squirrely little exit. That might have been Netcode though. As we do see the blue flag flying, letting us know that there is a slower car in front, so that means that they're going to have to try to give space to the faster cars coming up behind him. As we do see, that is the Nilla GT4, the Nilla Wafer GT4 of Alex Cruz. That is the P2 overall for the GT4 drivers. Speaking of P2, P1 for the GT4s, if we take a little vacation. Keep an eye on the standings, but take a little vacation and keep an eye on the GT4s. Leila Martinez in P1 for the GT4s. About a 10-second gap between them and P2. But the number 924 Mac and Cheese Aston Martin fitting very nice in P1. Alex Cruz in P2. That's the Nilla Wafer GT4. And to round off your podium for the GT4s, that's Dean Solomon in the number 59 Backroad GT Racing Porsche GT4. Let's go back to our battle that was happening here. A squirrely exit for the Baller Squad Ferrari. That puts all 4 tires in the dirt, and that's going to be slowing them down and creating the cushion that the Iceman has. I wouldn't say desperately been asking for it, but he's probably been hoping that there'll be a little cushion behind him now so that he can focus all of his attention on catching up to the cars in front. Because that is, I believe, a 20-second gap between the number 81 and the number 25, who is in P2. P2 does belong to Josh Staffen. That's the number 25 Honda. P1, Andrew Ratto still in the number 82 Honda. P3 is the number 81 McLaren on our screen here. It is a 45-minute race tonight. We do have somebody holding on to the Purple Crown. That is Josh Staffen in number 25 Honda holding on to the Purple Crown, which does mean that they have the fastest time on track. 1:21.955. So that is, I don't know if somebody was saying to make bets in the chat if someone's going to beat 122. There it is. That's under 122 race pace. That's 1:21.955. That's incredibly fast. Wow. Someone who's also incredibly fast, Robbie Sword Evasion in number 169 BMW, applying pressure to Chad McLean in the number 45 Mustang. That's that pink Mustang in the middle right there. We do have Drew Jensen also in the front in the number 19. And this battle has been going on for quite some time, I believe. Some traffic coming into the corkscrew. We'll see how the drivers handle this. Almost contact happening as Robbie Sword of Asian tries to split the uprights going in between his competitor there in the number 45 Mustang and the GT4, trying to make sure he doesn't bang doors with anybody, but there was a little bit there in the middle of the apex. The GT4 really didn't have to move out of the way, and it did look like Chad McLean had the inside line, so he really didn't have to move out of the way either, and that was more on Robbie to make sure that that pass was going to go safely, and it did actually. For what it's worth, the lunge really didn't amount to anything, and it just amounted to actually the Honda that is Darth Kemmel. Darth Kemmel making a move along the inside, the number 87, smelling blood in the water that's happening between the contact of the GT3s and GT4s in front of him, and that allows Darth Kemmel to make up that difference and start applying pressure to that BMW on our screen. Robbie feeling a little bit of that pressure as we did see him bobble the exit a little there. However, Darth Kemmel in the Honda, relatively smooth. Oh no, commentator's curse happening to the number 6 Honda. Red de Guzman unfortunately coming out of the Andretti hairpin, not able to save the back end and spinning out. However, getting back out on track, a safe rejoin I might add. So thank you very much to the number 6 there. Waiting for the track to be clear and then rejoining. Bumper to bumper out of this exit. It's a drag race now coming into turn 2. Who wants it more, the number 87 or the number 169? Both cars hard into the braking zone, into the double left of the hairpin. A GT4 along the outside, so that's going to be creating a little bit of quiet chaos and mayhem for the next couple of drivers. You do see Andres Espinosa in the back trying to take advantage of the GT4 traffic coming into the next couple of turns to see if he can catch up to the fight in front of him, and it does look like the GT4 will let him pass. So that is going to be Andres Espinosa in the number 27 also trying to catch up to the battle that we have happening here, maybe trying to throw his hat into the fight as well. I'm going to keep an eye on that. 15 minutes, 34 seconds left in the official pit stop. Or excuse me, in the official pit window. Drivers have to complete one mandatory pit stop. Fuel is required. Tires are not. It is up to you if you would like to take tires. couple of drivers entering the pits. That's the number 72. I have the number 885 entering the pits, the number 200 entering the pits. I think it's the start of the pit lane party as drivers start diving into the pits, allowing their pit lane strategies to come to fruition and hopefully undercut the rest of the cars that stay out, going side by side with the GT4 in turns 3 and 4. Relatively clean from everybody involved. Great racing. Now that we're going to be having drivers entering and exiting the pits. Oh, was an interesting snap of the steering wheel there from the number 87. Darth Kemmel able to wrangle that car in, though, and keep it within the white lines. Thank goodness. One of my favorite things about racing in general is just multi-class racing. So this GT3, GT4 multi-class battles happening on the same track at the same time. We have the GT4s racing against themselves, and we also have GT3s racing their own race. However, hey, you're on the track at the same time. One of my favorite things to see in motorsports. And it does, in my opinion, really does separate the drivers from the race car drivers, in my opinion. John Ryder. I got a little alert for the number 619, who is on the back bumper of the number 423. Is that an AMG? That is the Mercedes AMG driven by Wei-Shin Wang. A little bit of damage on the front end of that AMG as well. That front hood is going to would be flapping in the wind technically if this was more realistic damage than what we have here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. But in my opinion, that could potentially be affecting your top end speed. And depending on if there's any damage underneath the hood, we can't really see that. But that also could be affecting Wong's speed there. Ryan Chanley on the back bumper of Chad McLean. Chad McLean, however, able to get over the hump of the corkscrew a little bit faster than the number 67. So that's going to be creating some space between the drivers, as it may look like one of these drivers is going to be thinking about entering the pit lane. Yes, we do see Chad McLean entering the pits. That's number 45. With an interesting pit lane entrance, I do say so myself. If I can, we didn't get the correct. The camera people were too slow. But still checking in on your race leader as he crosses or goes through the final turn on to the front straight under the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca sign. This is the number 82 Honda, driven by Andrew Rados for Odyssey Racing League Esports. P1 for Andrew. Phil the Iceman Cryotheos moving up into P2 as drivers are starting to enter the pits ahead of him. Looks like that they're going to be trying to undercut, or going to try their best to undercut him and the number 82. That is Emery Sumes, who was in P2, however moving down now into P5 as they are entering the pit lane party. That is also Lavors Perkins and Viator, in the number 272 Ferrari, also entering the pit lane party. So that does move up Agüero Martinez in the number 79 BMW up into P3. If I had a wish list for Laguna Seca, the only thing I would wish for would be a better pit entrance. That's it. Racing fans, if you don't know what I mean, if you've never driven Laguna Seca, or if you've never seen it in real life, or if you've ever like never just or if you're unaware of the pit entrance, it's arguably one of the worst pit entrances in existence. As soon as you enter, you have to do a corkscrew type, like hairpin left-hander when you're going so slow, and like the cars just never turn. It never makes it. I always end up scraping the outside of my car. Checking in on your GT4 race leader, Leila Martinez, on number 924, Mac and Cheese, Aston Martin. Still in the lead. And that is about, if I can do math, can I do math? I can't do math. That is a huge gap between the leader of the GT4s and P2. Yeah, interestingly enough, it does look like Dean Solomon, your P2 for the GT4s, has entered the pit lane and joined the pit lane party, as well as Bonus Charles as well in the pit lane. It does look like the rest of the GT4 drivers, other than your GT4 leader, have entered the pit lane. 8 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the pit window. So still technically more than enough time to get in there and complete your mandatory pit stop. Your new race leader, however, is now the number 25 Honda. It's Josh Staffen, with a 8-second lead in front of the number 82 Andrew Rados, who may have been held up a little bit by traffic there. However, we're going to see and keep an eye on the number 82 to see if he can catch up to the number 25. Because as we do recall, racing fans, the number 82 did have a 15-second time penalty due to success. So they were given a success penalty for the last round, and that is... it looks like it hurt them this time around, as Josh Staffen is now in the lead. As well as still holding on to the Purple Crown, the number 25 Honda for real-time racing is your race leader and your Purple Crown holder, 122.202, the fastest time. And it looks to be a valid time as well. Oh, as we do see a what happened there? Chad McLean taking not the racing line you're supposed to. However, the Ford Mustang able to. That's a spooky roller coaster, if I do say so myself. The Ford Mustang able to survive the spooky roller coaster that is the corkscrew and stay within the white lines without hitting one of the walls. Leila Martinez, your GT4 leader, out now on the track. Alex are able to join the track now into traffic. Now the number 121 behind them. That's about 6-second gap now between the number 121 and the number 924 GT4s. So the battle is getting and inching ever so closer. Oh, whoa! A sideways number 45. Chad McLean, unfortunately, having to put a pause onto his race right now as he waits for the rest of the cars to get around him so that he can rejoin safely. What happened to the 45 there? Maybe getting a little bit of too much dirt on the exit of some of these turns and it just turning into a Ford Mustang issue with all that torque behind that V8 engine. Andres Espinosa in the number 27 Audi, moving up into P16 on the back bumper of Phil Dixon in the number 885 Porsche. That's a blued out Porsche, if I do say so myself. So all blue, nothing but blue. Oh, taking the Andretti hairpin a little too deep, maybe feeling a little blue. The number 885 tried to take the inside line. However, the 27 able to quickly get around them around the outside, and that does move Andres Espinosa up into P15. A little bit of flashies coming from the number 27, signaling that he's going to make the move. Interesting move on that turn in the number 121. However, the number 121 GT4 with great vision, able to see that move coming and give enough space for that GT3 to pass. Minutes, 37 seconds left in round 5 of Odyssey Racing League's GT America's season 19. Wei Wang electing to make a move along the inside. Does it stick? It does. The number 423 ahead now of the number 67, and moves Wang into P11. Ryan Chanley into P12. Velo Uno in the chat. Rados might not change tires. Was 5 seconds faster. So it did look like. So Josh Staffen had a 32-second pit time, and Andrew Rados had a 42-second pit time. So he did have a time penalty. He did have a success penalty added at the beginning, so that did affect his pit stop timer. Now, if he took tires, would that have pushed him farther back? Yes. But would he be able to close the gap maybe on pressure tires? That is a question that I would not know how to answer, honestly. But something that might be answered within the next couple of turns. Chad McLean in the number 45 Ford Mustang trying to make it past. This is Andres Espinosa in the number 27. And putting his left hand tires into the dirt. And a little bit of scrapes and bruises on the front end. I don't think it's going to be deterring him from finishing the race, but that is going to be a little bit of a bruised chassis, if I do say so myself. I do see what looks like a contact flag for the number 275. So possible contact between 275 and some of the other drivers as he's trying to make his way through the blue flag traffic. I do believe these cars are battling for position, so I don't believe the blue flag rule applies accurately to the situation that the number 275 maybe thinks that they are in. However, I'm going to let the stewards decide that. I'm only in the broadcast booth, and it is hot up here. The AC stopped working. It's really hot here in California. 37 degrees Celsius out on the track, 29 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. Chad McLean trying to heat up the track though as he tries to make a move along the outside. The number 619 not deterred though. That's the Ferrari we have on our screen, allowing Chad to take the outside line and say, hey, you know what, if you want to go on the outside, go ahead. It does take longer though, so it's up to you. That is the number 27. Oh no, the 27 getting a squirrely exit. Too squirrely. Unfortunately, loses the back end, spins it around. almost contact as well with the number 45 going off track to potentially avoid the collision. And luckily there wasn't a major incident that happened out of that small incident. $25 plus 15, yeah. Laguna in the chat, 25 plus 15, yeah. Wait, would I take tires here at Laguna? If it's a 45-minute race, I don't think I would. If it was an 1 hour race, I think I would. But it's also like, because the track itself really isn't like high degrade in my opinion. It's maybe medium degrade on the tires. But you have the elevation. It's always really hot here. I don't know. Maybe that's what separates me in the commentator booth here from the drivers that are actually doing very well out on track, everyone. Quick shout out to all the drivers out on track. There's 31 of you. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of Odyssey Racing League. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have anything to broadcast and anything to show and also come together and enjoy, that being motorsports and simulation motorsports. As well, a quick shout out to you, the viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're joining us live or you're watching this as a VOD sometime in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. I agree, Velo. It is hot. It's track temp. It's pretty hot, and it was hotter. It is cooling down a little bit. There are some clouds in the forecast. However, when we started the race, it was almost like 42, 43 C on the track. Oh, and 619 trying to rejoin the track. The number 81 alongside gave him a little buzz as he went by, but that is going to be putting enough space between the number 619 and the number 45 Ford Mustang to allow Chad McLean, who's the driver behind the wheel there of that pink Mustang, enough breathing room and probably a little sigh of relief. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left in the race. All he has to do is just continue his pace. Speaking of pace, still your race leader, Josh Staffen in the number 25 Honda. It's about 11 to 12 second gap between him and P2. That's held on to one of the Honda homies. And the number 82 Honda, to be exact. That's Andrew Rados for Odyssey Racing Esports. On the third step of the podium, the number 275, driven by Emre Sonmez for Baller Squad Racing. Traffic happening on our screen that does allow some contact as well. That allows Aguero Martinez to get side by side with Wyatt there. Wyatt electing to make the inside defensive line his own, making Aguero go along the outside, but with enough speed coming into the turn, the number 79 BMW was able to get in front, and that does move Aguero up into P6, Wyatt down into P7. However, some contact being made as before and going into the corkscrew. And it may have looked like Aguero might have broke a little too deep into the corkscrew, just trying to hold on to track position there, but was able to recover quite nicely, and he does stay ahead. So that does, again, move Aguero Martinez for Moon Black Race Team into P6. I'm assuming our team means race team. I do apologize if that's not what it means. John Ryder on the back bumper of Phil Dixon. Both drivers trying to keep on to their spots, as we do see more battles happening. That's the number 45 and the number 27 in the background. So this is a four-way fight as two cars in front unfortunately go off. That is an interesting turn of events. Monkey see, monkey do, I guess, as one driver goes off, the other one follows them, but allows the Chad McLean and Andres Espinosa to get by without any major incidents, as we did see one of the Ferraris just completely go and sidewash the whole track. That was incredible. Oh my goodness. I'm relieved that no major incident happened there, as we did see just barreling across the track in an unsafe manner. Wow. It does look like the number 885 is also able to recover from that, so it doesn't look like their race, or they were too damaged in that incident. Oh my goodness, that's... I still can't believe that. Oh wow. What is this commentator's curse happening? I'm so sorry. I went over to the camera was trying to move over to Andres Espinosa, but accidentally clicked Phil Dixon, and as soon as that happened, he started getting squirrely. So I don't know if it's just the track or what it is with tonight, but the commentator's curse is out in full effect, and I do apologize. Less than 2 minutes to go in round 5 of Odyssey Racing League Season 19. Round 5. I said that earlier. Just make sure you remember, it is round 5. Side by side now, Andres Espinosa and Chad McLean. They go. Are they going to bump doors or not? Chad McLean electing to stay in the middle. Andres Espinosa trying to get as far right as he can. Andres Espinosa with the undercut, allowing him to get past, because the pink Ford Mustang unfortunately goes too deep into the Andretti hairpin, and that allows the number 27 Audi past and in to P13. Chad McLean moving down into P14, but with a minute and 20 seconds left, Andres Espinosa is going to have to leave everything out on the track to stay ahead and to keep ahead. I'm going to keep an eye on the race leader and where they are on the track as well. They are getting through turn 2 in the Andretti hairpin, so I do believe they're going to have enough time to cross the finish line, and there will be one more lap. With 13 seconds left to go on that big clock at the top, we're going to be keeping an eye to see if Josh Staffen in the number 29 Honda can cross the finish line before the time expires to allow him to finish the race, and to allow him to finish one more lap in the race. It doesn't look like how, however, as the white flag flies, and we do see the number 25 Honda, driven by Josh Straffen, cross the final turn through the checkered flag under the Laguna, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca sign, and taking the checkered flag and the win for Josh Staffen in the number 25 Honda. That is, I believe, his second win here at Odyssey Racing League Season 19. Congratulations to Josh Staffen. In P2, Andrew Rados in the number 82 Odyssey Racing League Esports Honda. In the number 275 Ferrari, driven by Emre Sunmez for Baller Squad Racing, crossing the line in P3. Congratulations, Emre. Keeping an eye on the rest of the drivers as well, or the rest of the classifications, keeping an eye on the amateur driver, or the amateur leader, that is Kyle White in the number 251 Aston Martin. P5 overall, however, crossing the second to last turn. I believe that's turn 10. Now through turn 11, he does see the checkered flag in front of him. Under the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca sign he goes, and that's the win for Kyle White in the number 251 Aston Martin for the silver-plated drivers, or the amateur drivers. Congratulations to Kyle White. Agüero Martinez just able to get him crossing the line on the number 79 BMW, your winner for the rookie drivers. P6 overall, however. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see Leila Martinez cross the line, but your winner for the GT4 is the number 924 Aston Martin. That's the mac and cheese Aston Martin GT4 to be exact. Another win for Leila Martinez, racking up the wins like Pokemon gym badges. I believe that's their second win. Let me get that exact number for you right here. That is, yes, the second win for Leila Martinez, as well as Kyle White. That's their third win, so a third gym badge for Kyle White. Agüero Martinez as well with another win under their belt. A couple gym badges we need to hand out. And a Josh Staffen, your winner as well. And that is it for us here at Odyssey Racing League Season 19, Round 5 of GT Americas. That is the end of our broadcast for tonight, race fans. Your winner for tonight, Josh Staffen in the number 25 Honda. P2 goes to Andrew Rados in the number 82 Honda. And P3 to Emre Sunmez, in the number 275 Ferrari. Kyle White, your amateur winner. Winner of the silver drivers. And Agüero Martinez, your winner of the rookie drivers. And last but not least, for your GT4s, Leila Martinez with a dominating performance, your winner for the GT4s. Oh, we're being kicked out of the broadcasting booth already. So that's going to be it from me tonight. My name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju. And on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night.
ripping harder, more less. Never stop, no rest, till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck, progress to a god from a god mess. Hopeless, more tests, more blessed. Dug deep down, trying to find my best. Find a beast, had to kill a conquest, I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts, like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my camera when I do not to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yours, steadily killing me, running my